We live in an interesting era when it comes to gaming. On one hand, we have big soulless gaming studios that are ruining established franchises they had gotten second hand. On the other hand, we have small-time studios making good games on a budget, often basing them on the foundations of venerable and legendary games of the past. Yes, these indie games are sometimes unpolished, buggy, and they have missing content. And yes, I have to point it out. However, I greatly prefer these types of games than most of those flashy AAA titles lacking any kind of substance. AtomRPG is one such game. It is self-proclaimed spiritual successor to classical Fallout games. It is top-down CRPG with post-apocalyptic theme. This review was made with finished product, not an early access version. AtomRPG starts with familiar Fallout-like stats sheet, where you can set character points, skill points and traits to your liking. This can change up the gameplay. Keep in mind that besides high personality and intellect, other characteristics can be used while interacting with NPC through dialogue. Most grotesque being 10 luck, which can be used to unleash Death Note style mass-scale hard attacks or other devastating actions upon your enemies. Though I wish they would put more effort in graphical portrayal of such out-of-whack stuff like satellite crashing on your enemies, instead of just describing it in the text. When it comes to weapon skills, this game has a very confusing system. Clearly, AK-47 is an assault rifle and AVS-36 is a battle rifle, and both are capable of fully automatic fire. In AtomRPG, however, AK-47 is under automatic weapons skill and AVS-36 under rifles and shotguns skill. Other inaccuracies when it comes to portrayal of the guns in this game include KS-23 shotgun firing 12 gauge round instead of 6.27 gauge round, and inability of semi-automatic fire with Scorpion and RPK. Also, when it comes to shotgun ammo, I do wonder why they did not use Russian naming scheme for the sake of authenticity. I mean, it worked in Stalker series. Out of all combat skills, in my opinion, it is best to go with rifles and shotguns skill. Rifle ammo is the most common type of ammunition, as it encompasses most cartridge types found throughout the game. And with talents, you can squeeze insane amounts of damage per shot, often killing opponent in a single aimed shot. However, combat, even with such a good build, is not all that good. Lack of ammunition is my main quarrel with the game. For me, it is really a crippling issue. There is so little of it. I mean, even in the late game, after doing a hard side quest, guy just gives you 7 rounds per cartridge family as a reward. And this is how this game is the whole time. Bandits carry few rounds in their magazine, and apart from few you get to kill fast, rest will quickly expend their ammunition and go on to fight you with their fists. This is especially true for shotgun ammo. Those with double-barreled shotguns will shoot at you once or twice and that's it, no shells for you. Which is kinda ironical, since in both Fallout games, you were swimming in shotgun ammo from the start. Even traders have like 1 or 2 rounds to sell. This totally rules out use of burst firing weapons like SMGs, machine guns, assault rifles and battle rifles, as you will simply be unable to fit such a weapons and you will run dry after a few fights. Granted, there is Ammo Smith later in the game, who can provide you with the little buggers. But, and this is very huge but, you will need to collect garbage, something akin to Fallout 4 school of collecting garbage. And I am not into that kind of gameplay. Unlike old school Fallout games, everything seems to be taking time in this game, just to pad out the length. Traveling around the map is so slow. The worst part though is traveling outside the region into the new region, when you need to pay up big time to do so. For example, you need to cough out 6,000 rubles to get into the dead city to do your main quest, and another 6,000 to get back. And they do not even inform you to take a lot of anti-radiation meds, since the whole city is highly irradiated. Not to mention building up your settlement, where you need to invest considerable time and money for a little to no gain. Well, maybe to get one extra follower and that ammo smith I mentioned. That's it. I mean, getting money is not a problem. From what I had gathered, you can get a lot of cash by doing endless loop of dog fighting with your dog companion in Paragon, for measly 400 rubles a fight. But it is slow as all hell. After every fight, you have to wait a day. Actually, waiting is something you will have to do a lot. And what is worse, you have to eat in this game after every 12 hours, otherwise you cannot use wait function. So you cannot simply skip a day, a week or a month with wait function by simply clicking once. Also, it is funny how there are 4 car models in the game, but 3 of those car models end up being useless in regular play, as you need to fork out huge amounts of cash up front and wait for insane amount of time to get one of them. I guess it is some kind of reference to Soviet system, where you indeed had to put out money up front and wait for 5 to 10 years to get the actual car. And one that you can reliably get without insane ruble farming. You need to wipe out neutral mutant base for it, and that is not that easy, and is meant for the late game. You know, when you can finish the game, and I am talking with all functional side quests done. Yeah, you can get help as a part of a side quest if you decide to be violent. But still, you need a lot of ammo and healing items to pull it off. There is simply not a peaceful solution if you want to get that car. Even though these mutants are not hostile until you trespass on their property. They even give you warning. This is in contrast with Fallout 2, where you can get your car easily early on into the game. Luckily in this game you can enable cheats by default to fix these problems if you cannot handle them. I couldn't. I cheated and I am better for it, as I managed to skip all that annoying grind fest. Actually, I had found out about cheats when I was desperately searching for a solution to one huge and frequent bug this game has. You see, you can get stuck near doors when you open them, and I had managed to quick save right in that very moment before realizing what had just happened. It was either to use teleport or restart the game session. I had chosen teleport. When it comes to companions, well, they are not the smartest bunch and have constant problems. That mostly stems from their single path finding pattern they have in place. This pattern is plausible outdoors, but results in unpredictable behavior in narrow corridors, be it in bunker or a building. They get stuck, they run around, they block you. It is horrible and leaves me wondering why this was not fixed, as this problem is with us from the days of early access version of this game. Other than that though, 5 permanent companions in this game have well developed personalities, especially Hexogen made me laugh with his delusional claims. Though I wish developers had paid much more attention to the details, as Hexogen is portrayed as an expert marksman in the cutscene. But when you check his stats afterwards, he does not have enough skill to use that SKS rifle he starts with. When you acquire companions, their skill points are set willy-nilly without any logic behind it, and leveling them to set new skill points into single combat skill is a slow process. And I wish there were more than 5 permanent companions to recruit. Well, mostly it is down to 4 companions. As 5th companion is some sort of a joke, and is meant for achieving evil ending that requires you to kill everyone in the game. After she joins your party, all your quests are cancelled, and except her, no one will ever speak with you. Combat is a mixed bag. You see, in both old-school Fallout games, you have an option to initiate turn-based combat before the actual fight happens. It is quite genius actually. In AtomRPG, this feature is missing, and it shows. Turn-based combat starts when you walk into enemy line of sight or shoot at them. So you cannot attack first when monsters are hiding behind walls. You simply have to walk into doors and let them attack you first. This problem is more compounded by insane damage and knockout chains these monsters have on you, resulting in death. Without a grenade and enough skill to use it, this is truly a pain to do. If not impossible, especially when playing solo with lone wolf trait. This game has a habit of sometimes during random encounters and quests to put you in close quarters with your enemies who will then proceed to shred you to pieces. And you cannot respond to it whatsoever, you just die. This is especially true when your enemies have grenades, as hand grenade has a 60% chance to knock you down for multiple turns. Also, I do not think unarmed and melee combat skills are viable in this game, as late game enemies are packing automatic weapons and those can kill pretty much anything in one burst. In fact, some encounters you get while doing your quests are so brutal, you have to use drugs and other stat boosting consumables just to survive. So my advice is to keep them when you truly need them. Crafting does not make sense, as you cannot use it to craft ammunition, normal guns or attachments. Best you can do is to craft homemade grenades and that's it. Those homemade guns, crossbows and body armors this skill can be used for, you can simply loot off the dead bandits. Plus those homemade guns alongside with rusty guns have a chance to jam mid-fight and are absolutely inferior to normal weapons in damage department. Quests as a whole are very good and most of them are functional. During my playthrough, I was not able to finish 3 side quests due to bugs. And that is not too bad. I was expecting more. However, I must voice my disdain for some lazy side quests. They take form as random encounters in specific parts of the map, with a very low chance of encountering them. And when you get those encounters, you are forced into conversation with your opponents. I mean, players should have an ability to approach NPC for a conversation on his own accord. Also, when you manage to persuade them to leave you in peace, your screen will just fade black and they will be gone. I mean, it would be better if they had just started walking off screen and you had an ability to shoot them in the back. Interactive story is the main selling point when it comes to games such as AtomRPG. And I can say story is amazing in this game, especially use of hearsay and rumors. Most of it is false, but some of it turns out to be true. Though, some interactions with NPCs leave things to be desired. For example, during one side quest, you get a chance to blackmail leader of the major city in the wasteland. For a few thousand rubles, and go on to threaten him with releasing information to the local newspapers. However, you cannot do such a thing. Somewhat of an oversight by developers. Obviously, it would be interesting to be able to depose him from his high-profile position and replace him with someone who would fix the corruption in the city and punish the soldier who stole from me 500 rubles. And there is a lot of such cases, where a lot more could have been done with the story, but wasn't. This game has cutscenes that play out scripted events, which are odd, look cheap, and seem to be out of place in this game. I am not a fan of these moments at all. Also, I wish they would make text fonts larger, and even included some option for changing color palettes to improve readability when dealing with dialogue. All these might seem like a harsh criticism of the game, but I do totally recommend you to play this game. I had fun. If story and dialogue in a game is your thing, AtomRPG will not disappoint you.